Hey everybody, welcome to Modern Life Daily. So today I wanted to talk about fuel prices and just what these high fuel prices are doing to the average family and how it's cutting into everyday costs and really causing families and people to feel the pinch, all over the world actually. But today, we're talking about the United States and how these fuel prices have just gotten way out of control. Um, it's kind of ridiculous how everywhere you look today, you see uh, your money isn't going as far as it used to go. And I think a lot of this has to do with these fuel costs. I mean, by no means am I an economic, you know, expert, but I do see every day how these gas prices are just digging into everything. I used to spend probably about $20 to $30 a day in fuel for what I do, and now I am spending about 60, between 55 and 65 a day just to put fuel in my vehicle. And you're starting to see this creep into the grocery store again too, because all these prices at the grocery store are going up and up and up. And it makes you wonder, what our government and our leaders expect from us as far as how much is too much. At what point does the camel collapse because there's just way too many straws on its back? I mean, between all the fees that you have to pay for pretty much everything you do nowadays, and now on top of that, you're facing in my home state, $4.50 to about 5.50, 5.75, per gallon in gas here in Maryland, around the DC area and Baltimore area. It's becoming ridiculous. I mean, families are really struggling. Um, and I'll be honest with you, I don't see a solution or an end in sight. Think about it. Gas prices tend to go up during the summertime. They generally don't go down, they go up. So where does that put us in a few weeks? Memorial Day, you get all that holiday travel. Is a regular unleaded gas going to go to $5 a gallon instead of 4.50? At what point do our leaders realize, as a society, they've got to stop asking so many people to carry such a high burden? And what I mean by that is, if you look at all the taxes that are also piled on top of fuel prices, okay? Um, Many places you're getting hit with the local tax, the state tax, and the federal tax on fuel. So you remove those three taxes, and you might lose 40% on the price of gas per gallon. Instead of paying $5 a gallon, you might only be paying $3 a gallon. So, at what point do our officials maybe say, "Hey, we need to give our people a break. Let's waive some of these gas taxes and fuel taxes, and try to make a difference in people's lives. Let's bring down the cost of living, and we're going to start with us. We're going to have to do more or the same with less money." All these local and city and states, these governments, I think they need to really come together and start to think, what should we do to make the lives of our people easier? And one thing they could do right off the bat is get rid of all these taxes that go along with gas, with both gasoline and diesel. People simply can't afford it. Even with families that are cracking $100,000 a year, those fuel prices are making a huge, huge dent in the money that they need to use for groceries, kids' clothing, kids' activities, savings, retirement. All these things are being cut into. And, extrapolate it out. Look at it like this. Today we're at 4.50 a gallon. I'm sure the next crisis will hit, which will give an excuse to take it from 4.50 to 5.50. 10 years from now, are we going to be sitting at $10 a gallon on average? Are we going to be sitting at $8 a gallon? I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And for those of you who say the answer to this problem is electric cars, think about it. I don't know about the rest of you, but where I live, our electric bills, to heat and cool our homes have gotten way, way out of control. Okay. I'm talking on average between $500 and $1,000. For me personally, over the winter, it was an average of $600 a month to uh, to heat my house, and that did not include the oil that I had to buy because we have an oil burning furnace. That was just electricity. Okay, it was $600 a month. You probably have to add another $300 a month, $350 a month on top of that in home heating oil that you're burning. So you're looking at almost $1,000 a month during the winter in the Mid-Atlantic region to heat a home. Um, I have a friend of mine, and he just has a heat pump, and he was a little over $1,000 every month just in electricity. Okay, where do you think they get this electricity from? They burn coal. Coal is a fossil fuel. So I think that not only our leaders, but everybody needs to look at this. And what's driving electrical prices up are these data centers. They need to power their systems, whether it be for cooling, whether it be data storage, processing. All this needs to be powered, and it's done with electricity. Electricity is no different than anything else. It's sold on an open market. So the fact that they need so much of it drives up the price. It's a whole supply and demand thing. I think an easy solution for that would be to say, hey, you guys want to build your multi-billion-dollar data centers for AI, you need to supplement the electrical grid. Okay, you have all these big companies out there, Microsoft, um, Google, Amazon, these huge companies that are all building these data centers for AI. You know, they ought to be forced, if they're going to do that and they're going to affect everybody's price and they're going to drive it up that much, they need to be forced to pay into the system to keep prices where they should be naturally, without them sucking up all the electricity, causing the prices to go up. But getting back to what I was talking about with fuel prices and fossil fuels, it's all these things are being stacked on top of each other, and the people at the bottom are your everyday middle class average household, and we are being asked to, I guess, prop up all these things and carry the burden. And it really is unsustainable. Okay, salaries are not rising at the same rate that all these costs are. Now, I can remember it used to be I would go to the grocery store, and I would, everybody goes to the grocery store usually, you know 2, 3, 4 times a week, depending. And I can remember going to the grocery store where you stop, you get milk, bread, you might buy, a pound of ham, or some lunch meat or something like that. You grab a few odds and ends, and you would spend. I can remember when it was $27, $28. Then it went into the 30s. Then it went into the 40s. Well, now when you go in and do that, you're walking out of there and you're getting clipped for 80 to $100. Okay, and it's unsustainable. It's one of those things. My wife and I finally sat down and said, "Look, something's got to change." And the way we're going to change it is we're going to meal plan Monday through Friday. We are going to figure out what we're going to eat every day. And then we are going to write a list for that meal plan. And that's what we're going to shop for. And we're not going to go to the grocery store during the week the way we used to, because it has gotten extremely expensive and it's unsustainable. And we both do pretty well. We're I would say we're upper average middle class. And it's just gotten to the point where it's unsustainable. So my question to you is this: A, how has the rise in fuel prices affected you and your family? Number one. Okay. Number two, what do you think could be done about it? And I'm not talking political. Okay. In the sense, I'm not talking geopolitical. Um, but what do you think policy wise in the United States as far as taxes and things like that? What could be done? Do you think it's time that the government, both state and federal, pull back that gas tax or at least lower it to make it more affordable to the average person and the average family so that some of that burden is relieved off of our shoulders? So that's what I want to hear from people. I want to hear those things, and I look forward to the discussion. I want to hear from everybody. So please drop a comment, and I'll try and get back to everybody. But let me know what you think, and I'll see everybody in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.